Hi, I'm Kristen Eykel, and I'm so honored to be with you here today. When I was thinking about all of us gathered together in this wonderful worldwide community, all sharing this unique moment of now, something really struck me. We spend a lot of time thinking about what's different. We spend a lot of time thinking about what has to change or what's a problem or where we're separate from each other or from the world around us. And yet there's something that's so powerful that we all share that we just don't pay attention to enough. And yet it's right here, present within us at every moment. So, just to experience what I'm talking about, do me a favor, get comfortable, and just take a breath. And then just exhale. Listen to it. Take another breath, an even deeper one. And an even deeper exhale. Okay, one more time. Inhale deeply. And then as you exhale, feel what happened. Now, in just those couple of moments, you breathed with the rest of the world. You took a moment to be focused and conscious and bringing in some life force energy within you, just like the rest of the world. This is something we all share, this one breath of the divine. Because the very first thing you do when you come into this earth is inhale. And the very last thing you do as you leave is exhale. And in between that inhale of life and that exhale into the next step, we take a series of breaths. And each one of those breaths marks part of our life. The human body can live for 3 weeks without food. It would be terrible. It would hurt and the body would suffer. But it's possible. The human body could live 3 days without water. It would be terrible. It would hurt. You would hate it. But it's possible. The human body, you, cannot live for 3 minutes without breath. It's that primary. The breath of life is what keeps you alive. The vitality, the richness of breath is the elixir of life itself. There's a creation story that at the very beginning of time, the divine took the clay of this earth and molded it, shaped it into animals and humans and plants and all that we experience as life on this realm. And then the divine blew the breath of life into that clay and brought it into consciousness. When I hear that story, when I think of that idea, what I'm reminded of is that if you can only live for 3 minutes without breath, then each breath is a new creation in the clay of your body. Each breath is a gift from the divine. Each breath is another 3 minutes of life. We often think that our life is going to be years and decades and it spools out before us like this red carpet of invitation. Or we look back and we notice that we've had so many experiences that our life has been made up of. But I'd like you to imagine for just a moment and maybe even close your eyes so that you can imagine more deeply within you. And imagine instead that this breath right now, as you inhale, is the inhalation of the divine life force energy that is going to give you another 3 minutes of consciousness, another 3 minutes of activity, another 3 minutes of creation that you get to mold through the clay of your being and share with others in this divine matrix of plants and animals and beings and bugs and mycelium and trees and algae and stuff we don't even have names for. That each breath you give yourself is a moment of communion with the divine. And yet we don't think of it that way. We take breaths of fumes from cars. We take breaths of cigarettes. We take breaths that end in a yell of anger. We waste our breath. We waste our time. And yet if we were to take that moment of each breath being sacred, each breath of being a moment of borrowed divinity, that we could then share. How different would our lives be? How different would our conversations be? How more sacred would the words that you share be? How much more truth could you offer through your language? How much more patience and compassion would you experience if your breath of life were that sacred to you? So I'd like to invite you once again, maybe even close your eyes. We're going to do the 3 breaths again, but this time I would like you to imagine that you're breathing in the fabric of divinity itself. We're going to do it even a little longer than the first breath. So close your eyes and inhale deeply, and as you do, feel the breath moving through your nostrils, coating your brain and disseminating through your body, so that when you exhale, you're making space. Inhale again. And exhale, making space. 3rd time. Inhale now, every color, every vibrancy, everything you love, everything that matters, everything that feels like joy. Saturate yourself with it. Let that life force energy, let yourself bring it into your cells. And as you imbue it into your being, exhale the remnants on the other side. And then take a moment before you open your eyes and rest in that vessel. Rest in that coziness with your heart nestled in the bosom of the divine, and feel that. Imagine that if your breath were to give you another 3 minutes of life, what would you wish to do with that time? How would you wish to express this breath of life into form? How do you create things with the clay of the molecules of this dimension and then breathe life into it and share it? How does your breath manifest into joy, into abundance, into health and vitality? Now, on your next inhale, imagine for just this second, this breath of vitality filling the globe, sparkling like snow or rainbows or waterfalls where it most needs to go. And breathe like a prayer for our sisters, our families, our children, our men, our beloved teams, our communities that are striving to expand into this richness of vitality. Breathe for them. And you, yourself, receive the breath first. And you, yourself, are the one who grows. Thank you for breathing with me. Thank you for expanding this breath of life that we all share. And thank you for opening up new possibilities with the breath that you expend, the words that you share, and the vitality and richness that you afford. Many blessings. And Sana.